In last video we discussed about the transit for the Jupiter from Libra to Scorpio and the effects of this transit on all the moon signs. We are going to make this into two parts. In the first part we have discussed about the effect of this transit for Aries to Virgo, that is from Mesh to Kanya Rashi, and now we are going to discuss about the Libra to Pisces. Okay, let's get started. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahajani, help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. And if you are not following me, on Instagram, this is my ID. Go follow me on Instagram. And if you have any questions, ask me in the comment section below or on Instagram. You can message me on Instagram. Okay. So these videos will help you go further faster into Vedic astrological studies. So let's get started with the sign of Libra. So the first thing we do is to locate the sign of Scorpio, the sign of Sagittarius and the sign of Pisces. Why sign of Scorpio? Because Jupiter is moving through the sign of Scorpio. Why sign of Sagittarius? Because the karmic planet, the most important, most karmic planet of Saturn is transiting through the sign of Sagittarius in Mool Nakshatra. So we also have to consider that Sagittarius sign. This is the most important transit. Saturn transit is more important than the Jupiter because it is the most karmic transit. We all know Sadesati, right? Sadesati is nothing but the 12th house transit of the Saturn. It is that important. So we are also considering the sign of Sagittarius wherein Saturn is currently moving. The next thing we are going to think about is the sign of Pisces. Why sign of Pisces? Firstly, it is the sign of Jupiter. Apart from being, it is aspected by the Jupiter during this transit. So it is going to get the most of that impact. Okay, so let's get started for the sign of Libra, Tula Rashi. For the Tula Rashi, the sign of Scorpio comes into the second house. So Jupiter is transiting from the second house for the sign of Libra. And Sagittarius comes into the third house. So Saturn is traveling through the third house for the Libra moon people. And where is Pisces? Pisces comes into the sixth house. Okay. So the theme for the Libra people going to be the Artha, because Jupiter is transiting through the second house. It is aspecting the sixth house and 10th house, the two most important Artha Trikona houses. So these people will be more or less involved into the monetary aspect of their life. They will get a very good advice with respect to the finances, or they might meet a very good financial advisor during this time. So they have to make most of this with respect to the finances. But Saturn is traveling through the third house. Okay. So in fact, third house Saturn is a very good sign for business, because third house is all about your self-effort, your parakram. And Saturn is sitting into the third house. He loves the efforts. Okay. So yes, so Jupiter is aspecting the 12th Rashi. Jupiter is going to aspect the Meen Rashi in the 6th house and the 4th Rashi in the 10th house. So this is career, money and health are going to be the themes for the sign of Libra. So let's discuss about the sign of Scorpio. The sign of Scorpio itself, the sign where Jupiter is coming in. Okay, this is very interesting. This transit will be the most benefic for the sign of Scorpio. Why? Because they are going to change. This transit is going to change themselves. Why? What is ascendant? Ascendant is about yourself, your health, your image in the public. It is not the 10th house image. It is about the body. Right? It is about the body, the physical form which I have got. I may be I may be tall, I may be short, I may be handsome, I may be dull, I may be anything. All these depends upon the aspects on the first house. Yes, we are the mix of all the aspects and planets and houses, but the first house is the most important house, which is important for us to experience this world. And Jupiter is transiting through the first house for the Scorpion guys. So these people are going to change themselves. They may be having these guys may be having some bad habits. They're going to get rid of that habit. Okay, and they are going to move ahead from the first house. Being into the most benefic house, it is going to give the best results health wise. Apart from it, it is going to aspect the 5th house, 7th house and 9th house, the most benefic houses. 5th house is about your Purva Punya houses. 5th house is about what you have. 5th house is about the creative aspect of your life. 5th house is about the skills, arts, hobbies, all that good things, speculation. You can earn a lot from the stock market, maybe. Okay, and it is aspecting the 7th house. 7th house is the house of your spouse, your marriage, your husband, wife. So you are going to have a wonderful time with your loved ones, your family members, your children, the 5th house, as well as your spouse. And from the first house, the Jupiter also aspects the 9th house. What is 9th house? 9th house is all about the travel. 9th house is about the gurus, about the hopes, the wishes. Not wishes, wishes is more of a 11th house thing, but the 9th house is more about the higher wisdom, the higher hopes. It is about the guru. It is about the religious or spiritual activities. It is about visiting the pilgrimages, the holy places, because it is the 9th house, the house of religious activities, and also the house of travel. So if you combine this, you might visit the holy places. So for Scorpio, Saturn is in the 2nd house, so it will aspect the 4th house, 8th house and the 11th house. So it is kind of restrict you in these areas, but will bless you. Jupiter will bless you in 5, 7 and 9 areas. Okay, let's move on to the sign of Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, Jupiter is in the 12th house. Not a good place to have. It is a very uncomfortable place. It will aspect the spiritual aspect in you, but you being into the Sadesati and Jupiter is in the 12th house will make you, all the world is against you, nothing is happening for you, but you have to go through this phase. This phase is going to make you or break you. This phase is going to make you who you are. This phase is going to test you to the core. Why? Because you are in Sadesati and you don't have the support of the Jupiter. You don't have the blessings of the Jupiter. Okay, so this year is going to be a testing period for Sagittarius people, because Saturn is itself into their sign, making it looking very pessimistic, and you don't have the optimism of the Jupiter. So you are in a very tough situation, but you don't have to worry about it. You can make the most of it, because from the 12th house it aspects the 4th house and 8th house, again all the spiritual aspects. Now it is the time to go within yourself, think about yourself and think about the life ahead. You have to think about the life beyond this phase. You have to go through this phase, and when you are through this phase, you will be a different person altogether, and nothing can stop you then. But at this moment, you have to be very tough. You have to keep yourself busy. You have to do what you love, because from the 12th house it also aspects the 8th house and 4th house. So nothing tragic can happen, because it is aspecting the 8th house. You might even end up getting benefits of the 8th house, like inheritance, insurance, all that stuff we talked about earlier. More so, it will help you go through the spiritual ascension. I won't say ascension, but it is a very wonderful period for spiritual activities. Okay, so the sign of Capricorn, the Makar Rashi, For Makar Rashi, Jupiter is in the transiting from the 11th house. What is 11th house? 11th house is the best placement for the any planet. So Jupiter transiting through the 11th house, wow, you can do anything you want. Why? Because it is aspecting the 5th house, it is aspecting the 7th house, it is aspecting the 3rd house. 3rd house is all about your hobbies, the things which you love. 5th house is about your children. You can enjoy your family time with your children, and if you are planning to have the children, you can have during this time. Again, if you have the yogas in the D1 chart, okay, so you just can't predict with transit. You also have to look dashas and all that stuff. Transit will give you the indication of what can possibly happen during this period of time, and whether these will be triggered or not, or what are the planets in your D1 chart in these rashis will also determine all these things and will alter these things. So dashas and transit has to be studied in accordance with each other. We should not study them isolated. We'll end up getting a very bad prediction at the end of the day. Okay, so we're talking about the sign of Capricorn. They have 8th, they have 11th house Jupiter. They have the Jupiter transiting through their 11th house, aspecting 3rd, 5th and 7th house. So they will be involved in the leisure activity, the hobbies. They might be having they will be having a good time, a leisure time with their family, like their husband, their wife and their children. They might travel with their partners. Again, the 3rd house is about the short distance travels. So they may not be traveling like a 9th house travel, just like the Kanya Rashi people, but these guys can travel with their partner, maybe a short distance travel. 11th Rashi, the Kumbha Rashi. Where is Scorpio? Scorpio is in the 10th house. The Jupiter is in the 10th house of Jupiter is in the 10th house for the sign of Aquarius, Kumbha Rashi. The sign of Pisces is coming in the 2nd house. The sign of Taurus is coming into the 4th house. Sign of Aquarius, not Aquarius, sign of Cancer is coming into the 6th house. So the 2 Artha Trikona houses, 1 Moksha Trikona house is getting impacted by the transit of Jupiter. So this transit is going to trigger the blessings in these 3 houses. More so, these guys are having a wonderful transit of Saturn. The 11th house transit of Saturn is the most benefic planet, is the most benefic transit of all. So they are having the time of their life. Okay, so these guys will have these guys will enjoy the financial part. They will be very fortunate to have the savings. They will be very fortunate to have a quality time at home. They might read many books, and Jupiter is also aspecting the 6th house. 6th house is also about your job or workplace. Apart from being the place of disease and obstacles, it is also the place of your work wherein you go every single day. So all these things are getting blessed by the sign, by the planet Jupiter, the most benefic planet. Let's move on to the sign of Pisces. Pisces, where is Jupiter? Jupiter is moving through the 9th house. Wow, these guys are going to rock this year, because from the 9th house is going to aspect the 1st house, 5th house and 3rd house. What is 1st house? 1st house is the house of yourself, your body, health, your image in the society, your experiences in this life. All these are getting blessed from the Jupiter, and that too from the 9th house, which is the house of Bhagya. From 9th house, Jupiter is also aspecting the 3rd house, which is about the short travel, and also about the 5th house, which is also about your recreational activities, things which you love, which is about your children, the things which you love, and also about the speculation. So you will be blessed in all these activities, and at workplace also you will be getting promotion, or you have all the favorable positions at workplace. Okay, so yes, this was part 2 of the Jupiter transit for all the moon signs. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. Share this with your friends and family. Keep watching Pramanik astrology channel, and sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.